Appreciate all you guys being here. Obviously not the results we wanted this past weekend down in Huntsville, Texas with Sam Houston State. Really good football team, really well coached football team, great culture. You can tell, you can tell why they're the defending national champions and sitting here on a 19-20 game win streak, whatever it was after our game. And, very good football team. We did some things that were uncharacteristic at times, but I thought at times we really competed and showed our improvements and where we're headed with our culture and with our program. And was proud of our players in some of the facets and some of the players and how they handled every situation. Looking forward to Senior Day this Saturday here in Roy Kidd Stadium against a good Jacksonville State team. To be honest with you, look at their losses; they've been really close to some really good football teams. I know they've had a coaching change, and hate to see that happen at any time. Coach Cross did a heck of a job there, and as I'm sure he'll land on his feet and do great. But we've got to get ready for the task at hand and finish out strong in Roy Kidd Stadium and finish out strong for these seniors. I mean, they've the ones that we'll have a bunch out there going through Senior Day. Some will be making the decision to come back. Some have not made a decision yet, and some don't have that choice. And so Senior Day is a lot different than it used to be. But we'll celebrate those men, and we need a great week of practice to make sure we send them out on the right note. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Hey, Coach. So what were those conversations like going into halftime? You guys didn't have any scores in the first half, came out and, scored 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. What were those conversations like, in between? What was it you said, had to
I think I grabbed our staff and kind of did what I did at Central Arkansas and told them to, the support staff to go in and get them all together and then our coaching staff, that handles a lot of our coaching duties to get together and get some plans and find ways to put these guys in positions to continue to make plays. I think our defense played well up until about midway through the second quarter. And then we gave up their run. Their run typically happens in the middle 8. And so we gave up a run there and was not, characteristic of how we're playing. Offensively, we weren't able to run the ball very far at all. And then we weren't, making the plays through the air that we need to consistently make. So, we struggled with that. So I went in and addressed the team. Probably one of the first times I really got after them. And I challenged their competitive pride and their competitive spirit. And, I think they came back and answered the bell. And I think our coaches did a great job of adjusting at halftime.
And so going off of that, you talk about challenging your guys. What's your challenge to them this week going into this game?
Well, I mean, bottom line is we still got some things to play for. I mean, conference championship's out, but we still have a potential, 7th win puts us in contention for the playoffs. And so, you don't win, you got no shot at the playoffs. But if you win, you're leaving it up to a committee that has got to take your body of work with your 3 losses in the FCS to Indiana State, who's in the Missouri Valley, Sam Houston State, who's the defending national champion, and more than likely, potentially an 8-win team in Stephen F. Austin. So, I mean, I think you look at that and look at the schedule we played and look at the things that we have, a young football team, a quarterback that's probably should be getting more national recognition than he is. And things like, a defense that's been playing really well, minus some spurts last week. I think why not, put us in? And so I think that's, a committee choice, a committee voice. We've got a strong history here. But, that being said, it's our next opportunity. And so we need to go out and finish strong in Roy Kidd Stadium for our team, for our seniors. It will be 1 loss in Roy Kidd Stadium out of the 6 home games, which would put us at a 5-1 record. And all those things matter. And, I think, that's what our fans deserve. That's what our players deserve. And that's what our coaches deserve. So, you don't approach it any differently other than it's the next opportunity. But there are ramifications that can come from it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, how important is it to play in games like this? Against the defending national champion, against the number one ranked team for the university, for recruiting purposes and everything else. How important is it to play in games like that?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, I think it's huge for your players. I think it shows them where they're at. It shows them where they're at individually, where they're at as a team. I think it shows me where we're at, as coaches, as an organization, as our culture that we're trying to build. And, why wouldn't you want to play against the best team out there? I mean, I don't understand why you coach or why you play or why you're an administrator if you don't want to do those things. I mean, sure, it's a tall mountain to climb, but somebody's got to climb it. So why not start climbing it, And I think that's the approach we've got to take. We learn from all those mistakes that we made. We learn from our experiences, whether they're wins or losses, and realize, probably realize we got some things better than we thought, to be quite honest. So I think it's very important.
When you look at your team now going into the Opportunity Bowl, which is something that was started last year, can you touch on that and how important that is to this program and the players that play in it?
Well, I think it starts with, the representation of what it means and what it's for and the opportunities that are here, not only at EKU, but about our country. And that was started last year in the time for Sheila Presley, for a time that, or Dr. Presley, that we were honoring her. But also, it was a tough time last year, and it was a growing and different season for our whole football team. And I think our administration is doing the right thing by keeping that bowl game, but the meaning alive. And so our players, it may not be quite like it was last year with all the things that come with it, but to keep the understanding of what it's about around, I think it's very important for our players, for our coaches, and for our community. So looking forward to it. And, hopefully, we'll be 1-0 again.
I wanted to ask you about this. I know you've got a good relationship with Coach Holcomb, your son playing at Madison Central. Have you got to talk to them after their big win this past Friday? And just it's pretty cool what they're doing with the high school level this week too.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, Mike's been a friend for a long, long time. He's obviously a legend in coaching and such a great, football coach, but such a great person. And, Mike's done a great job of coming in to Central. It's my son's first year really playing. And for my son, it's been a great experience. He's, Mike is just as good as they get. I've known Mike since Justin Haddock's days and so Waylon Chapman days here. So I've had ties throughout with him, and he's not only he's a coaching guru in this town, but he's a good friend. We hang out a lot and we talk ball a lot. He comes over and watches practice, and I'll just look up and he'll be sitting in my office and, hey, what's up? We'll sit there and talk and go through things. And what he's done over there is great, and excited to continue. I'm just fortunate that KJ's a part of that, and getting to be district champs and now playing for a region championship. He's just really excited about it.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Coach, we saw the players respond really well to the Indiana State loss. They came out and played well and won after that game. Now coming off of two straight losses. How is the team responding this week in practice and for preparing for the game coming up this Saturday?
Well, I think, like anything, I think there's disappointment, and that's probably a good thing. If you bounce back so quick that it doesn't matter, I get it. We want that mentality, but it's got to hurt a little bit when you go out there and put your pride on the line and put your, you're going out there and putting your, self out there and trying to create value for yourself and do those things. And it doesn't work out the way it's supposed to. We had some individual performances that were really good. And, the two guys you're going to talk to played well, but, we've got to continue to build the expectation of winning. And so yesterday after the meetings, we had another good meeting, and then we went out and practiced, and I thought we had a really good practice yesterday. Now it's a helmet only practice. And we'll see where we go today and Wednesday and Thursday as we move forward. But I don't expect those guys to back down. I think there's a lot of guys hungry to try to get in the playoffs and prove that they belong. And but the main thing we want from them is just, I know it's boring, but just be consistent and give us the best version of yourself. And we got to continue to understand what that is. And I think some of them understand what that is now a little better off that Sam Houston game, and they can continue to improve themselves.
The last 2 weeks, the run game hasn't been able to get going outside of Parker. So what are you guys doing to get it ready for this week?
Well, we're going to continue to, work with our O-line and make sure that we understand, the things that people are doing to us and make sure where our fits are and what we need to do. And we obviously continue to try to find the scheme that best fits against the defenses that we're playing. We've got to do a better job of just, handling the movement that they give us and the different things. We did a great job in the middle of the season. And we struggled the last 2 weeks. I think part of that is the two teams we played had really good interior defensive linemen. And I think that puts a strain on, on your tailback and just handing it off and going. But we have to get it going. And that's one of the issues we addressed yesterday in meetings, and we addressed at halftime, and we'll continue to address. And, nobody's working harder than those boys. Don't get me wrong. Those men are out there working hard, and they're good guys, and they're trying, and they're doing those things. Sometimes you hit a lull and you got to push your way through it. And that's what they got to do. They got to push their way through it and come out and establish the run game.
Coach, I have a two-part question. Do you, with a win this weekend, do you feel like you have to politic at all to get that playoff berth? And secondly, the final time for a lot of guys at this stadium, how much do you talk to them about, don't try to be a superhero, just do your thing?
Well, I'll start with the first question. I mean, I don't think we need to politic. I think our schedule and our record speak and how we played in the game speaks for itself. I had plenty of people at Sam Houston, including Coach Keeler and many others, talk about how they felt like we were the toughest team they played all year. That being said, we didn't win the game. And so that in a quarter will get you a phone call. Maybe I don't even know if I get you one anymore. But that's up to Matt and Rickson and all the guys that got to do all that stuff. We're going to go out and prepare for the game and prepare to win the game. Like there is no playoffs, like there is playoffs. It doesn't matter. We got to have the mindset that it's the game. It's not anything other than outcomes or distractions. Don't look at the scoreboard. Go play each play like a life of its own. That's what we got to do, and we got to do it the best of our ability to be able to get a win. Because this is a good football team coming in here. Sure, they've had their ups and downs this season, and like I said, the coaching change and all that. But they're going to come in here trying to go off. They've got things to prove too. They got a new coach coming in. They better prove they're playing hard. They're playing for victory. They've got talent. They've got all those things. I've been in the situation that those assistant coaches are in. There's a lot to prove. Those coaches are trying to prove that, hey, if somebody pick me up, hire me, how all this stuff works. So there's a lot to be prepared for as we move into this game. Trick plays, they don't have any chance for anything other than a winning season. And so we have to be able to understand that and go play well. For these guys that are going out, a lot of them, half of them we brought in and half of them have been here for a long time, but they're all going to be Colonels for life. And, Roy Kidd Stadium is a special place, and our fans did a great job of making it special for our guys, because some of these guys didn't get to play in front of a lot of people in the 2020 season because of the COVID issues. And then this year we had such great atmosphere, such great attendance and everything that's going on. We need that again this Saturday to represent these men the right way. But it's such a special place to play. It's such a special time to be a Colonel, and for them, a special time in their lives. Their one chapter's ending, potentially others will open, and in a lot of different areas, whether it's football, whether it's life, whatever it is. These guys have done a great job, and particularly for us and our staff, and we're so thankful for them and appreciate them. And they've been through a lot. They've been through a coaching change, a COVID, and then now, a conference change. You just think about all the things they've been in at the end of their career. And these guys that have stayed, have really helped build what the culture we want to build as we keep moving forward.
Well, first of all, just talk about two things. Well, the opportunity of getting to play the number one team in the country and what that was like, and then the Opportunity Bowl, which is coming up this Saturday, and what that means to you all.
Well, when we first came to Sam Houston, the energy was like, there was a lot of like fans there, so that energy was really cool. And just to play the number one team in the FCS is like really cool, and the opportunity to play them is really big, and it's big for the team to see where we're at. And yeah. What was that second part?
Talk about the Opportunity Bowl and like how important that is to you guys to have that bowl game to end the season, regular season at least, at home.
Well, I feel like it's important because it's the last game of the season, the regular season, I should say. And to go out with a win as a senior and for all the other seniors is really big. So, and plus, if we win, we have a chance to go to the playoffs. So it's really big for us.
Hey, Roy, congratulations on a good season so far. You just mentioned it, senior season, last game of the regular season. What has your experience been like here so far? And of course, your time here at EKU, what has it meant to you with the transition here?
Well, my time here has been like really fun, to be honest. Like my new teammates, the coaches, like all of them have just been like family to me. They welcomed me very early, and just playing in Roy Kid, like my name is in the stadium. I'm not trying to be selfish or whatever, but it was cool having my name in the stadium as well. But it was nice playing the home games that I did. Every explosive play that we made offensively and defensively, just the stadium just exploded, and that was really cool to experience.
Then everybody said at the Stephen F. Austin game, just kind of from the moment getting off the bus, the team just didn't really respond well. Last week, how did you feel the team responded? And then this week in practice so far, how do you think things are going for the team?
Well, walking into Sam Houston, I feel like for the first quarter to like middle of the second quarter, I feel like defensively we was playing really well as a defense. We was going at them, and we wasn't watching the scoreboard, even though they scored 7 points. I think it was the first quarter or something like that. But we wasn't watching the scoreboard. We just kept on playing. And I mean, we didn't come out with the win, but I felt like we tried our best. The little mental errors really hurt us, I should say, little mental errors. But other than that, I feel like we tried to perform the best we possibly could. So,
Jaden, the offense couldn't seem to get it going in the first half, but you really picked up the pace in the second half. Can you talk about that and what you saw from the team there in the second half?
Yeah, we were struggling in the first half, trying to establish a run game. But like Coach said, that was a strong defensive line they had. But we have a strong tailback core with Dede, Keandre, and Braden in the backfield. We feel like whenever we give them the ball, they have a chance to break one. So we have to put our trust in them in the O-line. And whenever we call a pass play, we have to go make a play. But going into halftime, we were down 21. I feel like we responded good in the second half. We went into halftime. We could have, gave up down 21 to the number one team in the nation. But we responded. We came out swinging with everything we had. And I'm proud of the team for trying their best.
What do you think is the key for you guys to wrap up the season on a high note? What's it going to take to get a win against Jacksonville State?
You just got to play it like it's another game. I know it's senior night. You want to end with a bang. Got to get the seniors a win on their last home game, want to finish, 6 games in a row at home. But it's just another game. You got to go out there and play it like you play every play as hard as you can. That's all that matters.
Hey, Jaden, if you had to summarize your freshman year, what's it been like for you playing on the Colonels and getting a start to your college football career?
Ever since I came here in, June, the team they welcomed me like I was another one of them ever since I got here. I really bonded with a lot of the offensive players, especially Matt Wilcox, that's like another brother to me. I really love these dudes. I mean, it's sad to see some of them go after this year, but it's football. That's how it is.
Talk about your wide receiver room. You just talked about, Matt Wilcox and what he means to you. You guys have a loaded room this year. There was injuries, so there's opportunity and things like that as well. Just the general, I guess, feel of the wide receiver room and what it's meant to you this year.
I mean, in the wide receiver room, there's just a lot of playmakers, man. Everybody there can make plays. Whether you give them the ball in short situations and let them run or throw a deep ball. I mean, like you said, we had injuries. We lost Mo earlier in the year with his knee. And I think for like the first maybe 6 or 7 games, he was probably the only receiver with 100 yards. He played in the first 2. But there's a lot of playmakers in that room with me, Matt, Jaden, Jiren, Mo, BJ, Kiki. Just a lot of people that you can get a ball to and they can make plays.
What's one thing that you've learned here in your freshman season versus high school that you're able to take and build on for the coming years?
I think the biggest thing I learned is probably really reading defenses, honestly. High school, I mean, I went to a pretty good high school considering who we were, but I don't know. It was different in high school. College, if you really don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be successful in this game. So when I got here, Coach Cox, Coach Richmond, and all the senior receivers, they really showed me what to look out for and how to read defenses, what to call out, what to know pre-snap and post-snap. And I think they really helped me out this year.
And my last question, how often do you go back to the huddle and tell Parker, hey, man, I was open?
Man, I don't really try to do that too much. I feel like it's selfish, honestly. I know being a receiver, it happens a lot, honestly. You're open, don't get the ball, just got to move on to the next play.